to go into the biggest stadium. Visualize yourself going in the biggest stadium you've ever been in, standing on the stage as the star, and then like witnessing a sold out show, and every single person there is screaming your name. They're cheering for you. They're yelling for you, right? Just as if you were at a concert. And then share with the audience one of your dreams, and let them cheer you on and cheer that dream on, right? It helps to grow your muscle to know that you're worthy of it.
Y'all, today's show is so good.
But number one, I've never seen an intro like that.
It is my hope and desire that not only will episode 30 still be fun, but episode 300 will be even more fun. You are made for something great, so go and be awesome.
Ten seconds remaining.
Hello, and welcome to the show. My name is Renee Hastings, and I'm your host of Renee Speaks. Y'all, today's show is absolutely amazing, and I'll tell you why. Because our corporate sponsor is Wilbron, Alabama's premier public relations agency. Y'all, be sure to check them out. But let me tell you about our guest. Today's guest is Joie Gharrity, founder of Joie G 113. She is a brand consultant, live stream content creator, podcaster, author, and international speaker. She worked in the Hollywood entertainment industry for 15 years at top companies in film, television, original web content, and branded entertainment. After returning to the Bay Area, Joie was inspired to launch Joie G 113. She empowers entrepreneurial women to be their own superstar by shining a spotlight on their company brand in the marketplace with branding, marketing, and the Superstar Women Entrepreneurs Media Network, the live stream and podcast destination by and for women entrepreneurs that elevates women to superstar status, which has been picked up by a Hollywood-based agency, Electricast Media. Y'all, put your hands together for Joie Gharrity. How's it going?
Hi, Renee. How are you, sister?
I'm fantastic. I am so fantastic. I'm so excited that you were here. Can you tell I'm excited?
I love your intro. It's great.
Thank you. We have an amazing team here at Renee Speaks, and they're the most amazing podcast producers like in the world. So
They are.
I love them. So thank you so much for joining us today. We've been trying to get together for some time, and I'm glad the stars have finally aligned.
You, sister.
And we're finally able to get together. So, Joie, I know you, but I know you very well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your history, where you've come from, and how you got to this point today?
Yeah, so I was an influencer in the Bay Area. His family is very influential in Hollywood, and he got me my start down in Hollywood entertainment industry. I started in movies, and then I moved over into television. And then at the end there, I was doing branded entertainment. So for brands would come to us and we would do like online series for them. And from there, I decided I wanted my own brand. And so Joie G 113 was launched. And where my real vision and my purpose is to work with women entrepreneurs, particularly to help them get more influential out there in the marketplace.
Yes, I love that. I love everything about your brand. I love the whole Superstar Women Network, the Entrepreneurs Media Network, and how you really shine the light on them and give them a voice and a platform to share what they have to offer. It's really
Yes, so it
fantastic.
was after I came back from Podfest 2023, where I
Mm.
got it was so much fun. 23, and I came back from that, and I was like, I decided I was going to launch the media network. And
Wow.
I had been watching some women entrepreneurs out there who didn't have their own shows. And
Mhm.
I was like, why don't you join the network and I'll train you? So I have a system that I teach people. Because the number one kind of pushback on the shows I realized was around the technology component. And so
Mm.
I wanted to take that out of that component. Instead, I plugged in my system, and right now we have 8 shows running, and all these women are on fire. So I'm
Wow.
very, very grateful.
Wow, that is so fantastic. I mean, what an accomplishment in 1 year. And I think that goes to show too the power of suggestion
Mhm.
because you were in 2023 and from hearing someone say something that you hadn't heard before or that finally was the time to click with your spirit, you know, and now you have this entire media network
Yeah.
with content creators, shows, 8. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, I do. I truly do believe in the connecting the dots, right? I was on
Mhm.
stage in 2023, and I was looking around the room, and I was like, I want this for more
Mhm.
people to have that, to be seen and heard, and their message to get out there in the marketplace. When I was on stage, I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to do that, but while I was waiting for my Uber, that before I left, I was like, I could take my background, and I come from that world, and I was like, but I'm gonna make sure it's for women entrepreneurs. So that's really my niche.
Yes, absolutely. It's amazing the things that can come to mind while you're waiting on an Uber, right?
It can change your life, actually.
Right. I'm telling you.
Sure.
So, Joy, how do you navigate the fine line between self promotion and really true, authentic brand building in the digital landscape?
Yeah, so I think that there's two sides of the coin. One is that in Hollywood, they teach us right away, they train you to tell others what you're doing. Right? Because you
Mhm.
gotta work together. You don't have to like each other all the time, but you have to work together, right? You hear about a script, you wanna get to that script or a particular talent, that kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
I've taken that same unique point of view, and I've rolled that into my own branding, my own trainings, and my network. And I read an article, last year that they said that, it said that there was now people's attention spans, it takes them 26 times before they like wake up to your messaging. And I was like, I kind of believe it. I mean, it's a crazy marketplace, you know. And
Yeah.
so I feel like what I tell people all the time is I said the way to look at branding is and I shared this with you, Renee, is when I was in Hollywood, I lived on Hollywood and Highland, and then I'd meet my friends at the Beverly Hills Hotel, let's say. And so I'd be
Mhm.
driving down Sunset, and I'd look to the right, and there would be a billboard, and it'd be like, let's just say it was Mission Impossible, okay? And then you go another street, and then it's Mission Impossible. Another street is Mission Impossible. Hollywood knows how to make sure to get their messaging out there. By the time I
Mhm.
get to Beverly Hills Hotel, guess what we're all talking about, right?
Mission Impossible.
Whether you like Mission Impossible or not, because because they're reinforcing the messaging over and over and over again. And that's the way I look at branding in today's marketplace. I'm like, I don't think you can talk about what you're doing enough. I don't think it's possible. I don't. And I don't think you can overwhelm people with it, right? Because because you're so close to everyone's hearing about it. And I'm like, they're not. They're very busy, right?
Right.
So having a show, we have video podcasts, we have podcasts, right? You know, we're blogging, we're doing articles, we're like everywhere, and we're all sharing our stuff within the network. I think that sisters the formula.
Right. Yes, absolutely. I agree 100%. And hearing you talk about the Mission Impossible experience reminds me of a movie. I think Will Smith was in it. And I can't for the life of me remember what it was, but it was about a con game that they were running. And they kept showing up. They kept showing up the number 55 in this guy's life while he was in town. So the address where he was going was 55. The person on the street had a jersey with the number 55. The taxi cab number was 55. All these 55s were like subliminally being entered into his subconscious, so that when he got to the gambling table and he had to pick a number, guess what number he picked?
That's really fun.
Right. So I agree with you 100%. It doesn't, you cannot talk about your message enough to enough people to have the most impact.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And in today's marketplace is exciting, right? Because we have so many amazing avenues to talk about the messaging, right? Whether it's the shows or the blogs or the social media component or the email blast. I mean, there's just so many different ways, and you know, and there's going to be more ways. It's just gonna expand, right? And how you can get your messaging out there.
Right. So, okay, that makes me think about Ross's book, the 100 Predictions book. What do you think is going to be a new way to get our messaging out? Yes, kudos to Ross Brand and his 100 live stream digital media predictions. Joey and I both contributed to that book, and it is a bestseller.
Right there, yeah, your signature's on here too. I got Renee's signature. I got everyone that was at PodFest's signature on here. I loved your share. I thought your share was fantastic. I actually shared about your share in my show yesterday with Rebecca Gunter.
Awesome.
Yeah, I feel like the series is really impactful, and it's also really important, right? Because you're getting people that are deep into the arena, right? And you're getting their point of view. And so when I sit down and I read the book and I read it from cover to cover in one sitting, it helps me to get different perspectives. Like, for instance, I thought your share was very interesting. I hadn't thought about AI or about live streaming in the way that you had wrapped it yet, right? And so that's why the book's fantastic. It makes us think differently and kind of sit back with the arena and think, okay, that's these people have this point of view, particularly whether it's live stream podcasting or AI, for instance, and how is that perspective going to help shape the way I'm going to approach it?
That's right. That's right. And you can never, I don't think you can be too far on the cutting edge of innovation. So it's so important to stay connected, stay in touch, being in technology, because it moves at lightning speed, like lightning speed. And by the time something comes out within, it seems like 30 seconds, it's already obsolete because they've already been working on the upgrade to whatever is being presented. You know?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. So, Joie, can you share some strategies that you've used to help your team or other entrepreneurs, our audience, leverage media effectively? Because there's so much out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the live stream arena, like you, Renee. I only see it just getting bigger and bigger. I like it too because we can cut that one piece of content immediately and grab the audio, and you have your podcast, right? Yeah. I like it for the clips. I like to, we make sure that we download all the transcripts, and those goes into a blog component, into article components, and goes on and on. So if I was to give anyone a piece of advice right now, I'd say jump into the live stream arena right now.
That's right. Right
Let's
now. Like
Well, it's
today.
still young because it's not young, but it hasn't become mainstream yet, right?
Right.
Hasn't become mainstream yet, right? So
Yeah.
it will.
Yeah, I agree 100% because I mean, podcasts, I think people are used to listening to things, listening with their ears. But the actual visual, people are becoming so much more visually stimulated, um, so much easier, and it's more impactful. And I think because of things like um, TikTok and the what is that, Snapchat, where you see something for a few seconds and then it goes away, and so it's like our attention spans are just getting so much shorter that you need to have something for people to look at, see, for it to make an indelible impression, over the long term. So I agree with you 100%. Live stream is definitely where it's at, and I am all about it.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's great for face recognition, and I think that's a component that gets kind of lost out there a lot. Said you want people to recognize your face, so when you walk into an event, or you walk into a restaurant, or even before your new customer base meets you, let's say they've already put a face to the actual brand itself, right? And that
Yeah.
can really take things a long, long way for you.
Yes, absolutely. And so as I think about, so I only jumped into the live stream arena like within the last couple years. And thanks to Chris Stone, who exposed us to this amazing industry, I just became more and more aware of, how impactful this is. But then as I was thinking about it for myself, I was like, it seems too me focused, and I don't want things to be about me. I want it to be about the business. Do you know what I mean? So how do you effectively do that? Make it not about you, the person, but you, the business.
Well, but I think that we are the business. That's what I think. I think people want to put a face to the business now because there's a lot of smoke and mirrors out there, right? So it really helps with your know, like, and trust, right? When they can put a face to the actual biz. Of course, we have teams. Of course, we have a lot of other moving parts to it, right? But I think there's like certain like major entrepreneurs out there, like let's just say Richard Branson, for instance. He was very sharp. He put a face to his brand really early on before it was trending or cool even to do so, right? And so what happened is that there became a lot of know, like, and trust. It's almost like you connected the Virgin brand, right, to him immediately, which are just like, and I like, and like Rich, you like him, right? Yeah. And so I think that's where we're heading. In Ross's third edition of live streaming and digital media predictions is I predicted that we are the new reality stars. We're the new real stars, right? Because we're keeping it real, right? We're not scripting. We're professional. We're keeping it, but even in my network, I don't allow the girls to edit. I'm like, I don't care if a plane lands on your home, on your house. Right?
Okay, if a plane lands on the house, we might have to pause.
Right. Well, but keep going and get me that get that video over, right? Because it's that reality, real connection, emotional essence that we have, and that's what this does.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. I absolutely love that. And the fact that you said that we are like the new reality series, television, for lack of a better word, and some with you for sure, like with your media, television, station and, network. But we're doing it from the comforts of our own home with our own mic and our own camera, and it does nothing fancy. Certainly not hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment that it takes to do a reality show, but can easily be done by anyone, anywhere.
It's
You know?
true. Yeah, and that's the freedom flag about the arena we're in, right? Is
Yeah.
that is and at Podfest I saw Wendy's panel, and they were really talking about how it's really so important that we have this,
Mm,
right? That we have this platform, so
yeah.
that people of all walks, all ages, all nationalities they have to talk about what they want to talk about.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And when we were at Podfest, I met so many people. Well, so of course, Podfest is for content creators or people who are thinking about starting a podcast and don't really know where to start. And it's super educational. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe all the education tracks. But there were so many varieties of types of podcasts. So if you have an interest in something and you want to talk about it, start a podcast, especially if it's something that no one else is really talking about. So there's one guy that I think he had a podcast on like horseshoes or something like that. I'm like, really? Who wants to talk about horseshoes? Suddenly there's an entire audience of people who want to know about horseshoes. Do you know what I mean? But like that, so it doesn't matter how random your interest is, someone else has an interest in that and has questions about it. And if you can answer people's questions in this niche type of industry or business or, community or world or whatever, then those are going to be your people and you will definitely, get a following and your following will grow because no one else is talking about it.
Yeah, so I love how to. Since I was a little girl, I love everything how to. So I fell in love with the DIY magazines, anything that had to do with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I was envisioning, as a maneuver coming back, I was envisioning what the network would look like. I still want my essence and what I'm passionate about to be part of it, right? And I was like, okay, I'm going to do a whole how to network solutions, right? In all these different categories, because that interests me. And if it interests me, there's going to be other people that are interested in that too. I could have just gone the traditional route and said, yeah, I'm going to do, there's going to be business topics and all that, of course. But I like how to, right? So I've leveraged the entire network on that.
Wow. Wow. It's so smart.
And I want other people out there that are listening right now, because I know there's people out there thinking, oh, I've always wanted to start. And I'm like, and Renee and I will be authentic, because we are. When you first start out, it is a trip. It's strange, right? It's new, it's different, right? But with time, it becomes very second skin.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. And one of the things that I had to get used to was listening to the sound of my own voice.
Right.
Like, I was like, I know I have to talk to people, and that's fine, talking to people, but usually I say what I have to say and I'm done. Right. But this is a whole different thing when you are, on and you're just talking. And then I found that like my jaw started hurting. It's like I had to do some exercises. Oh my golly, I have not talked this much ever in life.
And you have a great voice.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. As do you. I mean, it's so wonderful to be able to use it on a platform that benefits people. So our audience for Renee Speaks is primarily, women entrepreneurs who are, business owners. And this I thought would be a great platform to share, tips and tricks and resources and just a community to be a part of that. So women entrepreneurs would know that they're not alone in doing whatever it is that they're trying to do and building their business, but they have someone who understands, and there's a place where they can go, on our YouTube channel for different, if they're going to know more about marketing or social media or any of these things, they can go right to our YouTube channel and listen to our amazing speakers that we've had on the show. And, including yourself, yourself included, of how to do these things that they're not experts at. That's what we bring guests on the show for. And, so it's my hope and desire that this will definitely resonate with our audience. And, when you're talking about branding and being your own superstar and opening your mouth and sharing your story, talking to people about what your gifts, skills, and talents are, then that really is helping people live out their purpose, I think. Right?
It is. And, I tell people too, I go, your show doubles as the ultimate business card. I mean,
right?
if someone needs another reason to jump into the arena, I'm like, you can leverage your show. You get to have, if it's an interview show, for instance, right? You get to reach out to people, emotional connection that way. Or maybe you have your clients, customer base on, they give you testimonials. For my second book, I have an entire show dedicated to this book. So people that read it come on my show and we talk about it, right?
Wow.
It's endless what you can do with your show.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. And speaking of your books, tell us about your books.
Yeah. So my second book's called Being Your Own Superstar, How to Expand Your Love Capacity. And this book is it has a daily habit system in it. It's about upping your inner game. So I observed superstars when I was working in Hollywood, and I learned how they really get what they want. And how they really get what they want is they just have this unbelievable capacity to allow, receive, and accept love. Business, money, cars, gifts is just love in different forms. And they just have Grand Canyon level.
Wow.
Right. It's just Grand Canyon level, what they can accept. Right. And so when I was being downloaded this book, I really wanted to bring it to the masses because I know people are like, why am I not getting what I want? Things aren't happening for me. And it's like, it's not that you're any less talented than anyone else. It's just, you just got to look at where your capacity is today.
Right.
And you have to connect the dots around looking at money like love notes, for instance. And I'm like, oh, I want $1 million. I'm like, can you handle 1 million love notes if they came to you right this second?
Yes.
That's a lot of love, right?
A lot of love. I'll take it.
Renee's capacity is huge. So Renee's capacity is huge for sure. But it's like I tell people this, they'll say I want a car, and I say just look at a car like a big love note. Like, can you accept, a Mercedes at $80,000 a Mercedes, right? Because the stars in Hollywood can accept gifts in the form of a car or fine pieces of art or you name it, right?
So that it makes me think that more people need to understand their worth.
Yeah.
And that once they understand their worth, they will quickly recognize that, yes, the answer to all of your questions is yes.
Yes. It's so true. Say yes.
Big fat yes. All yes. Yes. All of the yeses.
Yes. Yes. It's like a muscle. That's what I realized. So I tell people it's just the same thing as like working out your body. Your love capacity is a muscle, and you have to keep strengthening it, right? So like I have one of my techniques that I talk about in the book is to go into the biggest stadium, visualize yourself going in the biggest stadium you've ever been in, standing on the stage as the star, right? And then like witnessing a sold out show, and every single person there is screaming your name. They're cheering for you. They're yelling for you, right? Just as if you were at a concert. And then share with the audience one of your dreams and let them cheer you on and cheer that dream on, right? It helps to grow your muscle, right? To know that you're worthy of it.
That's right. Absolutely. I love that visualization exercise because while you were talking it, I was doing it. It's so awesome. And so the thought that came into my head is like, this is not just for the Beyoncés of the world. Right. This is just for like regular people like you and me. Just we can do that. We can visualize ourselves with a big life and it be okay. We should normalize that.
Yeah, and it does make it really normal. And what's so interesting about the I call it the love capacity daily habit system is that things that I had dreamt about before Renee, right, are falling in now.
Wow.
Because my capacity could handle it. Back then, I didn't have the capacity to handle it. And so, like, really, like, cool thing. Like, I forgot. I had forgotten, right? And like, and I'll be somewhere, and I'm like, oh my god, I dreamt about this umpteen years ago, right? And now my capacity things are just falling in, right?
Yes.
And so I tell people, I said, get your love capacity Grand Canyon level, and then sit back and watch.
I love it. Grand Canyon level love capacity. And for anyone who's ever been to the Grand Canyon, that's a lot of love.
Yes.
A whole lot of love. I love that so much. I mean, it just really resonates with my spirit. And those deja vu moments that you have, I have those all the time. And it makes me think when that happens, when I'm in the place that I dreamt about all those years ago, like in real life, I think to myself, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be this day in this moment. And everything I've been through up until this time has prepared me to be here in this moment, this day, because I dreamt it like years ago. This is where I'm supposed to be.
It's like amen to that. And that the only thing between us and our dreams is us, right? But when I was growing up, you couldn't have told me that in a million years. I didn't think love had anything to do with success. Anything. I thought love had to do with romantic relationships, but I didn't think love had to do with success, right? I thought hard work, determination, right? The old school, right? Right?
Yeah.
And what I realized is when I was connecting the dots of how I really got to Hollywood, my capacity had everything to do with it, right? I had been meditating. I met a meditation teacher in the Bay Area, and I had been meditating. I taught my friends, my close friends, right? We're all in our 20s, right? How to meditate. But I told him, I said, so at dinner parties, we throw these elaborate dinner parties all the time. And I told him, I said, let's go around and everyone, as if we already were there, tell a story of one of our favorite journeys. And mine was always about Egypt, always. The Nile, being in Egypt, throwing amazing dinner parties there, the pyramids, and we go around, right? And what we were really doing is we were putting it into action by speaking it out loud and with real emotion. Fast forward, an influencer in the Bay Area is like, I'm going to move you down to LA. My family is Hollywood, right? And I'm going to tell my brother to help you get a job. And so he did. And when I was down there, his brother's like, you're going to meet with this new company. They're out of Germany, right? The producer's looking for an assistant. I'm like, okay. And I go in and he hires me. Fast forward, I didn't know what he hired me for because he said, listen, I'm going to pick you up, right? Make sure you're packed for a couple months because we're going to go to set. And we're driving to set and we're driving through base camp with all the cameras and everything. And we turn the corner base camp and we get out and I'm standing in front of a pyramid.
Oh, wow.
My first movie I ever worked on was Stargate.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
All takes place in Egypt. And I was right there, sister, in my pyramid. The difference is I'm in visualization kickstarted my career.
Right. Wow. How fantastic. I mean, and goes to show the power of the mind. Yes. And so because of the powerfulness of the mind, we need to be careful about the things that we think about. We have to think. So we might as well think about the things that are going to bring us to the place where we eventually want to be. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And when I was at PopFest 2021, I left, got in my Uber, and I said, I will be on stage in 2020. Oh, no, I was there 2022. I'll be on stage in 2023. Right? I'm on stage in 2023. And it was crazy because I told everyone there. I said I had set intention I would be on stage, and I am. And I told them too before I got off stage, I know I'm going to set another intention. And then it was my media network, and I applied for us to have a panel, and the whole network went as a panel. And
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Oh, good. Yes.
we are.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. That is so good. I love that. And when you are, I think one of the things you said that is so key is how we need to be intentional, like from one point, being intentional to set a goal. Make it verbal, make it known to people what your hopes and dreams and goals and wishes are, because then they're going to actually hold you accountable to doing something to achieve that, right? So surrounding yourself with the right people is so important to actually you being accomplishing the things you set out to do.
Yeah, and once you set the intention, it's not easy, right? When I got back and I knew that this is what I wanted to do, I was still like, oh, how am I going to do it? And I was in my head a lot. And I went to a networking event, and someone there told me about a book, and they said you should get this book, and so I did. And I read this book, and it's called "No One Else Is Peeing in the Deep End of the Pool," especially Gharrity. And I got to the end of the book, and she says something in that book, sister. She said, it only takes one person saying yes to your dream, and it's now a reality. Yeah. And so I picked up my mobile phone and I called someone I've been watching who's been a friend of mine and who I wanted to become a content creator and join the network. I called her and I said, Kirsten, I said, I want you to be my first talent. And she said, yes. And that is how it's born. Right. So it is, you still need, I still needed, I mean.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I needed that book to drop in from the divine for me to still do it. Cause I was like, I don't know. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the thing is though, that you just start. That's the thing. If you don't make a move and you never get started, there would be no Kirsten. There Women's Media Network. There just wouldn't. But you took a step. You don't have to see the whole ladder in order to take one step. You just take one step at a time, move one rung at a time, and know that there's more ahead of you. Yes, but still look how far you've come up this ladder, right? To get to where you are today. So that's why you don't, for those people who feel like, oh, I have to have it all figured out before I can start a podcast or before I can start a network. No, if you keep waiting to get it all together, half the time the technology is going to change and you're going to have to start over of how to get it done. So just start somewhere with something and just move, do something, go forward in the direction of where you hope to get. The rest will work itself out and will fill in. The details will fill in. You'll become more knowledgeable and more aware of all the things that it takes. And once you discover what it takes, you put into action the doing of the things to make it happen.
And I think to your point too, it's such an excellent point is I think if we did see the big picture, I don't think we would move forward. Right? Because there was times when I wanted to burn that network to the ground. I was like, this is overwhelming. It was like I was in the deep end of the pool, like no lifeguard nearby, right? And yet, you still go, but there's gonna be those like, can I keep doing this? Right. So So you don't want to know the path, right?
Not all of it.
Get on the journey. You just got to get on the journey. I mean, I'm so glad that I did not burn it to the ground. It's still doing well. It's doing very well, but there's days, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's in everything though. Like whether you're trying to start a network, or you're trying to start a business, or you're trying to start a podcast, it's so important just to start. I think that's the takeaway, or the key thing I want people to understand is you have a hope, a goal, a desire that is only unique to you as an individual. No one else has it. No one else has that vision. No one else has the skills, talents, and abilities to get it done like you. So just do something. Don't sit on it. Go for it.
Jump. I would say jump the cliff. Jump the cliff.
That's right. Yeah, Evel Knievel it.
Oh, I love you.
So, Joie, how can we reach you? I know we're coming up on time. How can we reach you and get your books and find out what's going on with you and become a part of the network?
Yeah, so you can find us on YouTube at SWE Media Network. There, you can also find me in all the social media. Everyone's social media, Joie Gharrity or SW Media Network there, and reach out. I'll reach right back. Absolutely. You could grab my books on Amazon. If you do read Being Your Own Superstar, How to Expand Your Love Capacity, let me know. I'll bring you on my show.
Oh, awesome.
Because I literally have a show dedicated just to the book, right?
Right. Yeah. So purchase the book and be on the show.
Yes.
Stop.
I know, and that's what's so fun about the shows is we get to meet people from all over.
Yes. I love that. I love that so much, and that's what I think keeps the shows fun. Is because you don't know who they are before they show up. You do your research before they come on the show, and then it's like, wow, meeting them, face to face on the camera. It's like, wow, this is really so fantastic, so interesting, because we're always curious about what we're not familiar with, right?
Yeah,
so
well, I saw Renee's show. I mean, I saw your show, sister, and I had you on my show. I mean, I saw your show, and I was like, oh, like, she's so cool. She's got such a unique point of view. I want to have her on the show. That show, I felt like I knew you better, right? Because we got to know each other. Now we're at podcast, and I'm just like, hug, like, it's just, it creates a different emotional connection.
Absolutely. Right? 100%. Yeah, 100%. I love that. And I love it when we meet online and then can actually meet face to face.
Right.
How awesome is that?
It's so fun. It's so fun.
It's amazing. So any final words for us or our audience? Like any question that you wanted me to ask that I didn't ask?
Well, I would just say that really that the live stream world is still fresh to the marketplace, right? So, if you've been thinking about jumping in, jump, right? Yeah. It's not like it's this huge, yet, right? Yeah. And the community is really like family. It's still like family, right? And so at PodFest 2024, there was 2,000 of us, right? Mm-hmm. And it's so unique. It's so interesting. And I really encourage people to jump in. And if they want any kind of support or any kind of encouragement, just ask us.
That's right. And that's where we swim. We get our people beside us, and they start moving our arms for us and giving us the tools and resources to be successful. Oh, it's PodFest, the PodFest Expo.
Yes.
Like you, Joie, I'm an ambassador. I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. Go to PodFest Expo 2025. It's going to be in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. In the Orlando area, if I'm not mistaken. So book from now. Keep your eyes peeled for it. PodFestExpo.com. for sure. Definitely you want to be a part of it. And even if you're just thinking about it or thinking about it, go ahead and register, and your mind will be made up by the end of that conference.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there, so you can come on up, and we'd love to meet you.
That's right. Absolutely. I can't wait to meet everyone. All right, Joie. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. It's so great to have you on the show. You know, you were made for something great. So go and be awesome.